Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty, and this is another in a series of fun geometric pattern tutorials that I've been working on for you. This week we're going to be making this funky heart checkerboard pattern here. You don't need to be able to draw to make this pattern, as we're going to be making most of it with simple shapes, and we're only going to use the brush to draw the heart. If you're familiar with Procreate, know how pattern repeats work, and are familiar with things like snapping and transforming, then this should be an easy tutorial to follow along with. However, if you're new to patterns in Procreate, you might find it a bit trickier, but I promise you, as long as you follow along step by step, you will end up with a pattern that looks like mine at the end. I suggest just watching the video all the way through for the first time so you get the overall gist of what I'm doing, and then if you want to work along with it, you can watch it again and pause it as you go along. Let's get started. So I'm going to create a 12-inch square canvas to make this. I already have a preset for that here. If you want to create your own preset, you can tap this plus up here. You can give it a name in this part. It needs to be 3600 pixels by 3600 pixels. That's 12 inches if you have that at 300 dpi, and then you can click create. I'm just going to cancel this because I don't want to keep making loads of those, so I'm going to tap on the one that I already have here. So I'll make this pattern in black and white, and then we'll recolor it at the end. So I grab this black color there, and I am going to tap on this layer here, and I'm going to fill the layer with pure black. Then I'm going to tap to transform. I'm using bicubic for my interpolation method here for this type of work. I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees and I'm going to fit it to the canvas. Once that's done, I can tap up there and that is now set. So what I need to do now is to draw my heart in this. So I'm going to add a layer above. I'm going to come up here to canvas. I'm going to turn on the drawing guide, edit drawing guide, and I'm going to have it set to vertical symmetry. If you zoom in here, you can't actually see the lines, and that's because they are black. So if you can't see your line when you're in there, bring the opacity up. You can also bring the thickness up and make sure it's a different color. Then you can tap done. On this layer now, it will say drawing assist, and we're going to draw our heart on this line. I'm going to just grab one of the airbrushing brushes that comes with Procreate, and I'm going to use the hard airbrush at the bottom. So the size that you have the brush depends on how pointy you want your heart to be at the bottom. If you have a bigger brush, you're going to have more of a rounded edge on your heart at the bottom, but if you want a smaller, pointier heart, then go for a small brush like that. One thing I might do is turn the smoothing up on this. So I'm going to tap in the corner, come down to stabilization, and I'm going to bring the streamlining and the stabilization up to 100, and that's going to allow me to draw a nice smooth line here. So let's draw that heart now we've got the smoothing on. I think I'm going to start at the bottom instead. Go a bit slower this time. There we go. So now I can just color drop and fill that. So you can either center the heart or leave it slightly off center. If you center it, it can sometimes look a bit too high up. Like that is actually centered on the canvas, but to me that looks too high up now, so I'm going to leave that where it was. But as long as it's centered on this middle line here, you're okay. So that is all the drawing we have to do for this heart pattern. The rest is just going to be made by transforming this around. So I'm going to put a mark on the corners of this heart, and I'll do them in black so that we can easily see them. So on the corners of the canvas of that heart, I've still got drawing assist on, so it's actually drawn them in all four, but bare minimum you need one in this corner and one in that corner, so that when we tap to transform, we can grab the whole of the canvas. So I'm going to duplicate this layer now. And I'm going to turn off the background color so that we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to tap up here to transform. I'm going to drag it halfway up and halfway across until it snaps into that corner there. And I'm going to duplicate the heart again and bring it over into this corner. Don't worry about these parts here, we'll clean those up afterwards. I'm going to duplicate again, bring it down and to the left. Duplicate again and bring it down and to the right. Then we can pinch those top four layers together and we can erase these marks in the middle. And then what I want to do is alpha lock that layer at the top, and I want to make those black. And then we can turn our background colour back on. And that is essentially all that we need to do for this pattern. I'm going to turn the drawing guide off now. So now let's change up the colours. I'm going to make my background colour this bright pink there, and I'm also going to make the white pink as well, so it will select pink for the colour, tap to fill that, and then the black layers, I'm going to make them red. So let's grab this one. Remember when we were kids and we thought we were so smart saying red and pink should never be seen with each other, but now, oh my gosh, look at it, they look so cool together. We knew nothing. So let's test this in Repeat now. So I'm going to swipe down with 3 fingers and I'm going to copy all. And I'm going to come up to the top layer, swipe down again and paste. And that's going to put a flattened version of everything in there. Before I do any moving around of that, I'm going to hide everything that's underneath and I'm going to change the background colour to black. By making it black, if there's any gaps in the pattern, that black will show through and we'll be able to spot if anything's going wrong. So on this top layer that's flattened, I'm going to tap to transform and we're going to drag this up and snap it to the 1800 pixel point there. Then we can duplicate that and drag it over here and snap it into place. And we can zoom in on these edges and just make sure that that's tiling nicely there. There's no like gap down there and these match up perfectly. So that's looking good. Our vertical edges are nicely lined up. So we can pinch those two together, duplicate that and snap it down to the bottom, and then we'll be able to test the horizontal edges. So let's just zoom into the middle there. There's no gap running across there. And if we go to the edges of the heart, you can see that's carrying on nicely there. So that's all working perfectly seamless now. If you want to make it smaller again, you can pinch those two together, tap to transform and bring it up here a second time and then repeat that, transforming across. Again, just zooming in to make sure there's no funny gaps appearing there. Pinch those two together, duplicate and drag that down. So that is our finished heart pattern tile. Thank you for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have a go at making it, don't forget to share your pattern on Instagram and tag me at Becky Flaherty so I can see it and share it in my stories. If you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube for pattern tutorials like this every week. You can see more of my art on Instagram, and if you want to see some more in-depth courses from me, you can find those over on Skillshare. If you're not already on Skillshare, sign up using the link below and you'll get 30 days for free. Have fun, stay creative, and I will see you next time.